My name is Natalie Cordova. I am 42 years old, and I have been married to my husband, Peter, for 20 years. We have 3 children, Mateo, 18, Isabel, 15, and Lucas, 12. We live in a sprawling farmhouse on 10 acres outside Nashville, Tennessee. We have horses, a vegetable garden, a porch swing that creaks in the summer wind, and a life that anyone would envy. Or so I thought. The unraveling began on a Tuesday in April. It was a day like any other. I had driven Isabel to her violin lesson, picked up dry cleaning, and stopped at the grocery store for ingredients to make Peter's favorite meal, chicken piccata, because it was his birthday week. He was 51. I had planned a small party for Saturday. Friends, family, a cake shaped like a guitar. He used to play in a band, back when we were young and careless. At 4:47 p.m., I was standing in the kitchen, chopping parsley, when his phone buzzed on the counter. He had left it behind when he went to feed the horses. I didn't usually look at his phone. I never felt the need. But the preview of the message caught my eye because it was from a name I didn't recognize. Kay. I can't stop thinking about last night. When can I see you again? My hand froze over the cutting board. The knife hovered above a pile of green flecks. I read the message again. Last night, Peter had said he was working late at the office. He was a commercial real estate developer. Late nights weren't unusual. He came home around 11 p.m., smelling of whiskey and tiredness, and fell asleep on the couch. I had covered him with a blanket and gone to bed alone. I picked up his phone. I knew his passcode. It was our anniversary. I opened the messages. There were hundreds of them. Threads stretching back for years. For years. He had been seeing this woman, Kendra, for 4 years. She was a real estate agent he had met through work. The messages were intimate, explicit, tender. He called her my love, my sunshine, the reason I wake up in the morning. He sent her photos from our vacation in Maine, photos I had taken, of the ocean, and he had cropped me out. He had been texting her while sitting next to me on the couch, while watching our children open Christmas presents, while lying in bed beside me after making love. I read until my eyes blurred, until the sun set and the kitchen grew dark, until Mateo came home from baseball practice and asked, "Mom, why are you crying?" I hadn't realized I was crying. I wiped my face. "Allergies," I said. "It's the pollen." He didn't believe me. I could see it in his eyes. He was 18, almost a man, and he knew his mother better than that. But he didn't push. He just said, "Okay," and went upstairs. I put the phone back on the counter. I finished chopping the parsley. I made the chicken piccata. I set the table. And when Peter came in from the barn, washed his hands, and sat down to eat, I served him his favorite meal and smiled like nothing had happened. I didn't confront him that night. I didn't scream or throw things or demand answers. I went through the motions, dinner, dishes, helping Lucas with his homework, tucking Isabel in, and when Peter said, "I'm tired, going to bed early," I said, "Okay, good night." I waited until he was asleep. Then I went to the living room, sat on the couch where he had so often fallen asleep after his late nights, and I let the weight of 4 years crush me. The next morning, I called my sister, Rachel. She lived in Chicago, 3 states away, but she was the only person I trusted with the truth. I told her everything. The messages, the name, the 4 years, the photos cropped and sent to another woman. Rachel was silent for a long time. Then she said, "What are you going to do?" "I don't know." "Don't make any decisions today. Or tomorrow. Give yourself time." "How much time?" "As much as you need." That was easy for her to say. She wasn't the one who had to look at her husband across the breakfast table and pretend she didn't know he was in love with someone else. I spent the next week in a fog. I went to work. I was a project manager at a small architecture firm, and I stared at blueprints without seeing them. I drove carpool, attended parent-teacher conferences, and smiled through it all. I was an actress in my own life, performing the role of the happy wife while the stage burned behind the curtain. Peter didn't notice. Or maybe he did, and he didn't care. He was distant, as he had been for years, but I had stopped questioning the distance. I had told myself it was work stress, midlife crisis, the natural ebb of a long marriage. Now I knew. The distance had a name. And she was 38 years old, divorced, with highlighted hair and a laugh that made men turn their heads. I found her on Instagram. Kendra Monroe. Her feed was a highlight reel of brunches, boutique fitness classes, and inspirational quotes about living your best life. I scrolled through her photos and felt a strange, hollow curiosity. What did she have that I didn't? Was she funnier? Smarter? More adventurous in bed? Or was it just that she was new, a fresh face, a different scent, a body that hadn't stretched to birth 3 children? I spent hours torturing myself with those questions. I lost weight. I stopped sleeping. I started drinking wine alone after the kids went to bed, just enough to take the edge off, just enough to make the thoughts quiet. One night, about 2 weeks after I found the messages, Peter came home late again. I was sitting in the dark, a half-empty glass of Malbec beside me. He flipped on the light and stopped. "Nat, what's wrong?" I looked at him. This man I had loved since I was 22. The man who had held my hand when I gave birth to our children. The man who had cried at his father's funeral. The man who had promised to love me until death. "Who is Kendra?" I asked. His face went white, then red, then white again. "What?" "I saw your messages. On your phone. The ones you forgot to delete." He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. For a moment, he looked like a fish gasping for air. Then he sat down heavily on the armchair across from me. "I can explain," he said. "Then explain." He told me a story I had already pieced together from the messages. He met Kendra at an industry conference in Miami 4 years ago. They started talking. One thing led to another. He said it was never supposed to go this far. He said he had tried to end it, but she was persistent. He said he was confused. He said he still loved me. "That's not an explanation," I said. "That's a confession." "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to tell me the truth. Do you love her?" He hesitated. That hesitation, the same one I had read about in 1,000 infidelity stories, was all the answer I needed. "I don't know," he said. "Then we have nothing to talk about." I stood up. I walked upstairs. I packed a bag, clothes, toiletries, a few books, and I left. I didn't know where I was going. I ended up at a hotel near the airport, a generic place with beige walls and a humming air conditioner. I lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling and tried to remember who I was before I became Peter's wife. I couldn't. I stayed at the hotel for 3 days. Then I rented a small apartment in a town 20 minutes away, a 1-bedroom above a garage, owned by an elderly widow named Mrs. Patterson. She didn't ask questions. She just handed me the keys and said, "The water gets hot around 7 a.m. I told the children that Mom and Dad needed some time apart. I didn't tell them why. Mateo was old enough to suspect. I saw the way he looked at me, the way he looked at his father. He stopped asking questions after a while. He just hugged me longer than usual when I dropped him off. Isabel cried. She was 15, an age when everything is dramatic, but this was real. She begged me to come home. She said she would do anything, be anything, if I would just come back. I held her and told her it wasn't her fault, that I loved her, that I would always love her. Lucas, 12, didn't cry. He just went quiet. That was worse. Peter called every day, sometimes multiple times. He left voicemails that ranged from angry, "How could you just leave?" to pleading, "Please Nat, let's talk," to pathetic, "I don't know how to do this without you." I didn't answer. I listened to them all, because a part of me, the part that still loved him, needed to hear his voice. But I didn't answer. I started therapy. A woman named Dr. Evelyn Shaw, who had gray hair and kind eyes and a way of asking questions that made me feel like I wasn't crazy. She listened to my story without judgment. She said things like, "You are allowed to be angry, and you don't have to decide anything right now, and your feelings are valid." I didn't believe her at first, but I kept going. I saw a lawyer, a woman named Margaret Chun, who had been divorced twice herself and didn't flinch when I told her about the affair. She explained my options. I could file for divorce. I could separate. I could stay married and try to work it out. I don't know what I want, I said. Then don't decide today, but start documenting everything. The messages, the timeline, the financial records. You don't have to use them, but you should have them. I went home to the apartment above the garage and started a folder. Screenshots, emails, a log of his calls. I felt like a spy in my own life. But Margaret was right. Knowledge was power, and I had been powerless for too long. I also started writing. A journal. Every day, I wrote down what I was feeling. The anger, the grief, the confusion, the moments of unexpected peace. I wrote about the children. I wrote about the life I thought I had. I wrote about the woman I used to be before I became someone's wife, someone's mother, someone's afterthought. October 12th. Today I saw a couple holding hands at the grocery store. They were old, maybe 70, and they looked at each other like they still had secrets. I used to think Peter and I would be like that. Now I don't know what I think. October 18th. Isabel called me crying because she had a fight with her best friend. I drove over and held her. She asked if Dad had a girlfriend. I said, "That's between your father and me." She said, "That's not an answer." She's right. It's not. October 25th. I haven't cried in 3 days. Is that progress or denial? Peter asked if we could meet for dinner. Not at the house, neutral ground. I agreed because I was tired of hiding, tired of the phone calls, tired of the weight of not knowing what came next. We met at a small Italian restaurant on the outskirts of town. The kind of place where the portions are generous and the wine is cheap. He was already there when I arrived, sitting in a booth near the window. He looked older, thinner. His shirt was wrinkled. I sat across from him. We ordered. We made small talk about the children, Mateo's college applications, Isabel's grades, Lucas's baseball season. Then, over a plate of ravioli, he said, "I ended it." I looked up. Ended what? Kendra. It's over. I told her I couldn't see her anymore, that I needed to focus on my family. I set down my fork. How long have you been waiting to tell me that? A few weeks. And why now? Because I miss you. Because I can't sleep in our bed without you. Because the kids are hurting, and it's my fault, and I hate myself for it. I stared at him. He looked sincere. But he had looked sincere for 20 years, and he had still lied to me for 4 of them. Do you love her? I told you it's over. That's not what I asked. He was quiet for a long time. The restaurant hummed around us. The clink of glasses, the murmur of conversations, the laughter of people who still trusted the people across the table. I don't know if I ever loved her, he said. I was lonely. I was stupid. I was selfish. And I took you for granted. I am so sorry, Nat. I know sorry isn't enough, but it's all I have. I paid for my half of the meal. I left the restaurant without finishing my ravioli. He called after me, but I didn't turn around. I decided to file for divorce. It wasn't a sudden decision. It came after weeks of therapy, hours of journaling, and one conversation with Mateo that broke my heart, and then somehow mended it. He had come to visit me at the apartment. We sat on the tiny balcony, looking out at Mrs. Patterson's garden. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Mom, I know about Dad." I froze. What do you know? I saw his phone. A few months ago. I was looking for a charger, and I saw the messages. I didn't read them all. I didn't need to. I felt the world tilt. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want to hurt you. And because I thought you might already know. I didn't. I'm sorry, Mom. Don't be sorry. You didn't do anything wrong. He was quiet again. Then he said, "You deserve better. You know that, right?" I started to cry. I'm starting to. He hugged me. He was taller than me now. A man almost. And in that moment, I realized that my children were watching. They were learning from me. They were learning what it meant to be strong, to set boundaries, to walk away from someone who didn't value them. I couldn't stay. Not for them. Not for me. I filed the papers the next week. Peter didn't fight it. Not really. He hired a lawyer, and there were negotiations. The house, the cars, the retirement accounts, custody. But he didn't try to win me back. He just signed where he was told and looked at me with sad eyes that I no longer trusted. The divorce was finalized in March. A year after I found the messages. A year after my life fell apart. I kept the house. The farmhouse with the porch swing and the garden and the 10 acres. The children stayed with me most of the time. Peter moved into a condo in town. A sterile place with modern furniture and no pictures on the walls. I didn't cry at the final hearing. I sat in the courtroom, holding Rachel's hand, and I felt nothing. Not relief, not sadness, not anger. Just a quiet emptiness where my heart used to be. Rachel said, "You're free." I nodded. I know. The first year after the divorce was the hardest. I learned to be alone. Not just physically. I had been physically alone plenty of times when Peter was working late. But emotionally, I learned to sit with my thoughts without numbing them. I learned to make decisions without checking with someone else. I learned to trust myself again. I went back to therapy. I joined a support group for divorced women. I started running. Just a mile at first, then 2, then 5. The rhythm of my feet on the pavement became a meditation. I also started painting. I hadn't painted since college. I bought a set of watercolors and a stack of paper, and I painted the things I couldn't say. The sky at dawn. The curve of a horse's neck. My children's faces. One painting was different. It was a woman standing at a window, looking out at a storm. She wasn't running. She wasn't hiding. She was just watching. Waiting. I titled it Survivor. I hung it in my bedroom. I looked at it every morning when I woke up, and every night before I fell asleep. It reminded me that I had not been destroyed. I had been transformed. About 18 months after the divorce, Peter asked if we could have coffee. I agreed because I was tired of hating him. Not because I forgave him. I wasn't sure I ever would, but because hatred is heavy, and I had been carrying it for too long. We met at a cafe downtown. He looked older, softer. He had gained weight, lost some hair. He was wearing a wedding ring. "You remarried?" I asked. He shook his head. "No. I haven't taken it off. It feels wrong to. You should probably take it off." He looked at his hand, then at me. "I know." We ordered coffee. We talked about the children. Mateo was in college now, Isabel was driving, Lucas was in middle school. We talked about his job, my job, the weather. Then he said, "I owe you an apology. A real one. Not the ones I gave you before." I waited. I was selfish. I was cruel. I took you for granted. And I lied to you, not just about Kendra, but about everything. About how I felt. About who I was. I was so afraid of being unhappy that I made you unhappy too. And I am so sorry. I looked at him. Really looked at him. The man I had loved for 20 years. The man who had broken my heart. "I accept your apology," I said. "But I don't forgive you. Not yet. Maybe someday." He nodded. "That's fair." We finished our coffee. We said goodbye. I walked to my car and sat in the driver's seat for a long time, watching him drive away. I didn't cry. I didn't feel angry. I just felt peaceful. Not happy, but peaceful. 3 years after the divorce, I met someone. His name is David. He's a high school history teacher. He has a beard and a laugh that sounds like a goose, and he reads poetry out loud while he cooks. He was married once too. His wife left him for a chiropractor. He knows what it's like to be discarded. We take things slowly. We don't talk about marriage or moving in together. We just enjoy each other. We go to museums and farmers markets and long walks along the river. He makes me laugh. He makes me feel seen. He doesn't try to fix me. He knows I'm not broken. Last week, we were sitting on my porch swing, watching the sun set over the fields. He took my hand and said, "I'm not going anywhere." I looked at him. "How do you know?" "Because I've been where you are. I've been the one who was left. And I know that the only thing worse than being alone is being with someone who makes you feel alone. I don't want to be that person for you." I leaned my head on his shoulder. "You're not." We sat in silence, listening to the crickets, watching the stars appear. I thought about Peter, about Kendra, about the years I wasted on a man who didn't value me. I thought about the children, who had grown up strong and kind despite everything. I thought about the woman I used to be, the one who believed that love meant sacrifice, that marriage meant endurance, that happiness was something you earned through suffering. I didn't believe that anymore. Love is not sacrifice. It is not endurance. It is not suffering. Love is choice. It is presence. It is the decision to show up every day and be honest and be kind and be present. Peter didn't choose me. Not really. He chose comfort, convenience, the illusion of a happy marriage. But I chose myself. In the end, that was the only choice that mattered. I still write to Peter sometimes. Not real letters, just drafts saved in a folder on my laptop. I don't send them. I don't need to. Dear Peter, I want you to know that I don't hate you anymore. I did for a while. I hated you for making me feel small, for making me feel like I wasn't enough, for making me doubt myself, my worth, my judgment. But I don't hate you now. I pity you, because you had something beautiful, a family, a home, a wife who loved you, and you threw it away for something that was never real. I hope you find what you're looking for. I hope you learn to be honest. I hope you learn to be brave. I have. Thank you for the children. Thank you for the years. Thank you for the lessons, even the painful ones. I am not the woman I was when I married you. I am stronger. I am wiser. I am more myself. And I am finally at peace. Goodbye, Peter. Natalie. Today is Sunday. I am sitting on my porch swing, drinking coffee, watching the horses graze. David is inside making pancakes. The smell of bacon drifts through the screen door. Mateo is in law school. He calls every Sunday. Isabel is a sophomore in college, studying art history. She sends me photos of her paintings. Lucas is a junior in high school. He has his father's smile and my stubbornness. They are all okay. They are more than okay. They are thriving. And so am I. I still have bad days. Days when the memory of the betrayal surfaces, sharp and cold, and I wonder if I will ever fully heal. Days when I look at David and feel afraid. Afraid of being hurt again, afraid of trusting, afraid of hoping. But those days are fewer now. And on the good days, the days when I laugh, when I paint, when I hold my children, when I kiss David goodnight, I know that I am exactly where I am supposed to be. I am not the woman who was betrayed. I am not the woman who stayed. I am not the woman who left. I am the woman who survived. And that, I have learned, is enough. If you are reading this and you are hurting, if you are in the middle of your own unraveling, your own discovery, your own dark night, please know that you are not alone. You are not weak. You are not foolish for having loved. You are human. And humans survive. We heal. We grow. We learn to trust again. Not blindly but wisely. We learn to set boundaries. We learn to love ourselves first. And one day, we wake up and realize that the person who hurt us no longer has the power to define us. That day will come for you too. I promise. Until then, be gentle with yourself. Cry when you need to. Scream when you need to. Eat the ice cream. Watch the sad movies. Call your friends. And remember, you were whole before them, and you will be whole after them. You are not the story they wrote about you. You are the author of your own. What would you have done in Natalie's place? Would you have forgiven Peter? Would you have stayed? Would you have walked away sooner? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this story touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is remind each other that we're not alone.